Hey everyone, it's Kevin, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about binge eating when you're stressed. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video, and if you want to speak with me personally, there is a link in the description box. Stress is a normal part of life. Most of us deal with stress on a day-to-day basis. It's just something that we can't avoid. And one thing that you have to learn as a mature adult is how to deal with stress in healthy and empowered ways. There are good ways of dealing with stress and there are bad ways of dealing with stress. The one thing we know is that we can't get rid of stress completely. In fact, stress is a necessary component of life. Without stress, I don't think we would grow, we wouldn't become better people, we wouldn't have any challenges. That's kind of the paradox of life is we want to avoid problems and we want to avoid challenges, but we absolutely need them if we want to go to the next level. Unfortunately, a lot of people do things that make the stress even worse, like reaching for snacks and reaching for food that they don't need and only provides a temporary stimulus. Feeling stressed is normal, having stress in your life is normal. Reaching for a bag of chips when you're stressed is not normal. And in this video, I'm going to show you better ways of dealing with that stress without compromising your health. The first thing I want you to do is note the times when you are stressed. What makes you stressed? For example, it's the small things that really stress me out. It's when things that are supposed to work don't work. For example, the other day I had some password trouble. That really pisses me off and it makes me stressed out and it makes me hate life. It's when the things that I rely on and I expect to work don't work, and then it takes me 10, 15, or 20 minutes to make it work when it should just work the first time. That's when I get stressed out. And I know that, and I know that's not a good time for me to eat. You shouldn't eat when you're bored, stressed, or angry. If you haven't watched my previous video on eating when you're bored, watch that one. That's a good uh, companion video to this video. But right now, I want to focus on the stress and the times when you are stressed and note those times. This channel, more than anything, is about knowing yourself. You have to know yourself and you have to know when you get these emotions, why you get these emotions. It takes a little bit of introspection and you have to start taking note of what you're feeling and at what times of the day. You need to catch yourself in the moment. So when you are stressed, just accept that. It's okay. It's okay to feel stressed once in a while. In fact, if you don't have any stress in your life, you're probably not living a really important or interesting life because you need stress. And a life without stress is actually not a very fulfilling life. In order to have the peaks, you have to have the valleys. You have to have some challenge. And if you don't have any challenges, then you're just sitting in front of the TV all day and you're not learning anything. You want to catch yourself in that moment when you are stressed and just note that you are stressed and it's okay. And you shouldn't get rid of those feelings. One of the themes that I often refer to on this channel is one thing that I like to talk about is confronting the emotion instead of trying to avoid it. So when you reach for cookies or chips or ice cream or some other food that provides a temporary fix, usually contains a lot of salt, sugar, and fat, you're avoiding that emotion. You're trying to get rid of that emotion. It's like you're trying to paint over wallpaper when you need to take out the wallpaper and then paint again. Don't try to cover the emotions. Just accept them for what they are. I think a big reason why people get addicted to various substances, and in this case food, is because they're looking for a quick fix. They're looking for something to elevate their mood. We don't like negative moods, but if you're a mature person, you have to accept those moments. You have to accept stress. You have to accept boredom and anger. These emotions are just a part of life, and being a mature adult means that you find mature solutions to these emotions. Don't avoid these emotions, confront them. When you are stressed, you need to find better alternatives to food. Listen, if you want to have something and you're really hungry and your blood sugar's low, then you should probably have something. But if you're eating because you're stressed, and be honest about this, then you're making a really disempowered or a really unhealthy choice. There are better ways of dealing with this stress. My personal favorite is sitting and doing nothing, relaxing, turning off all the stimuli. We're overstimulated anyway, so turn off the music, turn off the laptop, put the phone on airplane mode. Don't do anything for 15 or 20 minutes. If you're at home, go lie in bed. It feels great. It's really therapeutic. It'll calm you down. It's like waking up and starting the second day again. Other people talk about sitting in a hot tub or calling a friend, yeah, that's great, but that's not always feasible. Not all of us have a hot tub in our backyard. I don't. Uh, Big waste of money, in my opinion. And we can't always call a friend. I mean, if you have a huge list of friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, I guess you can do that. But I don't have a huge Rolodex. Okay, so that's not always an option. I like alternatives that are easy to access and are easy to implement, like sitting still and doing nothing, meditation, lying down for a little bit. If you want to entertain yourself, that's okay. There's room for entertainment. Even the busiest people have room for entertainment. As long as you're doing the tasks that you need, don't spend too much time on entertainment. But if it helps you deal with the stress and helps you rebound, then do it. What I'm recommending is that you find anything other than food or drugs to cope with the stress. My next tip for you is to be more focused and productive when you need to be focused and productive. When you're trying to do work, whether at school or at work, if you're not being productive and you're not focused, then you're putting that work off for later. And then that leisure time that you should have is now occupied by work. It's not the best way to say that, but what I'm saying is when it's time to work, work. And when it's time to relax, relax. I think a big problem in the modern age is that everything is blending together, meaning the time that we should be relaxing and we should be with family is now becoming work time. I see a lot of families with the phone at the table. This is a huge mistake. Your family's only going to grow up once, so you might as well be there. But now I see people taking calls, looking on their phones. It's like when we're at work, we're thinking about being on the beach. And then when we're at the beach, we're thinking about being at work. We're never really present. Now, I know this sounds really like woo-woo and, metaphysical and, I'm not trying to go off on a tangent here, but really you want to separate these two. You want to separate the family from the relaxation, from the work. Wherever you are, be there and be focused. One reason you're feeling stressed out is because you're not getting the results that you want. And one of the reasons you're not getting the results that you want is because you're not focused and you're not getting things done on time. If you want to experience an elevation in your mood, then complete tasks. Okay, this is important. If you set out to do a task, actually complete the task. How good does it feel when you cross something off your list, especially when it's something really important? Maybe when you finish your book report, maybe when you finish a dissertation, maybe when you finish a big project, maybe you're creating an online course or something like that. How good does it feel to finish it? Well, if that feels good, then it's going to lower your stress. So how do you get more of those emotions? Finish more tasks. Another thing you need to do is focus on daily improvement. I'm not talking about eating better and optimizing your diet. I mean, that's important in a way. Getting fitter and making healthier decisions every day, even just a little bit. That's important. But also focus on being better at work, being better with the family, being better at home, being better everywhere. Be fitter, be leaner, be stronger, be smarter, be more focused, be more productive. Not like, I'm not talking about you're going to be somebody different tomorrow. You're just going to be a little bit better. And this is another concept that seems to come up in a lot of my videos, is this idea of making small changes every day over time. Okay, don't go for that, huge overnight change. You don't need to do that. In fact, I think that's one reason a lot of people don't change is because it's too daunting. They feel like they have to change everything at once. You don't have to do that. You just have to make one better decision today than you made yesterday, and you're a little better. My next tip for you is if you want to eat something when you're stressed out, you can have something, but make sure it's light. Don't go for the chips, the trail mix, the cookies, the stuff that's really high in fat and sugar. That's a killer. Look for the stuff that's low in calories, high in fiber, high in protein, high in vitamins and nutrients. Carrots are always my favorite because they're crunchy, they satisfy an oral fixation, they're healthy. Most people aren't getting their daily quota of vegetables anyway. So if you want something to eat, fine, just eat something that's not very dense. You also want to connect to future self. So right now, as you're watching this is present self. Okay, this is who you are in the moment. But who are you going to be in 12 hours, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year? Don't neglect future self. I work with a lot of seniors, and one thing I'm thinking about is 80-year-old Kevin. What is 80-year-old Kevin going to be like? What decisions does he want me to make today? So just for the record, I'm 33. So 80, that's a long way away. But people who are 80 today were 33 at one point. Okay, and they probably weren't thinking about the 80-year-old version of themselves. And I think one reason why a lot of seniors don't have good health and are struggling and need a lot of assistance and they're broke is because when they were 30, they weren't thinking about who they were going to be when they were 80. They weren't thinking about future self. Now, I know that's a huge gap, 50 years, that's half a century. That's like, whoa, that's a long time. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about future self in 12 hours, 1 day, 2 days. So if you're thinking about eating a bunch of sugar and fat and you're thinking about binge eating, well, think about this. What does future self want to feel in 12 hours, 24 hours, 36 hours? When you step on the scale in a couple days, or maybe tomorrow, what do you want that number to be? How do you want to feel when you wake up? Always connecting with future self is super important. And it can actually help you make better decisions. It will at least make you think twice about reaching into the bag of chips or opening the carton of ice cream. Being able to delay gratifications is one of the hallmarks of a healthy, successful person. I think that's why successful people are successful. It's because they sacrifice something good today for something much better tomorrow. They're willing to sell today for a much better future. They live lives that nobody wants today so that they can live lives that nobody can have in the future. It's all about sacrificing today for the future. And that's kind of the definition of an investor. You need to invest in your health. And when you go for the bag of chips or the bag of cookies, you're already withdrawing from your bank account. Don't do that because 80-year-old version of yourself is going to hate you. When you're eating out of stress, it only leads to more stress. This is what happens to a lot of dieters. They eat something that's not on the plan. So maybe they have a donut. Somebody brought glazed donuts to the office and they had one donut and it's causing them a lot of stress because they're thinking they fell off the plan, they fell off the wagon, they don't have any self-control. F it, I'm just going to eat. I'm going to go back and get a second donut and a third donut. This causes even more stress. And what do they do to alleviate that stress? The one thing that caused the stress in the first place, which was making a bad decision, which was a lapse of self-control. So the answer to that, illogically, is to relinquish even more self-control. So the donut, the sugar, and the fat provides a temporary relief, a temporary escape, but then the crash is even greater, and they feel worse after that. It's fascinating how we deliberately do things that sabotage our lives and our health. Don't do the one thing that's causing you stress. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to be healthy, if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to be healthy and you're trying to recover from disordered eating, what's going to cause you a lot of stress? It's making bad decisions. And if you make more bad decisions, you're only compounding the problem. Limit the damage. It's okay if you make one mistake. Okay, don't aggravate things. Don't make it worse. It's just going to cause you even more stress, which is only going to compel you to eat more, which is only going to push you from your goal. I hope you found this video educational and entertaining. If you want to speak with me personally, there is a link below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them and I'll see you there.